Have you ever looked forward to something like a game, and then that game comes out and it is nowhere near what you were wanting it to be? Well, enter Funko Fusion. They said, "Hey Chris, hold my beer." I have a lot of gripes about this game. There's not a lot of positives, but I have a lot of gripes. So let's start with the positives. Funko Fusion manages to take all these different franchises and merge them and mash them into one game. Being able to play Scott Pilgrim as you're running from a Velociraptor, or being in Hot Fuzz as a Dilophosaurus, or number 5 on Battlestar Galactica. There's so many different things you can do in this game. It's really, really crazy. Being in a level and having Megan pop up and having to fight a robot. You're like, what are you doing? Voltron saying, hey bro, help me out really quick. There's just so many different pop culture references in this game. It is so freaking cool and probably one of my favorite things. Another thing that I absolutely love about Funko Fusion is the music. Not only do they have a level from Scott Pilgrim that is playing Threshold, but they also have some fantastic songs on the Umbrella Academy world. Just everything has really, really good music, and I do think 1010 Studios deserves some kudos for creating such a good soundtrack. All right, now that we got the good stuff out the way, I guess we could talk about the bad. Let's start with the story. Oh, the story. Funko Fusion. It starts off not horrible. There is a character named Eddie that is a mysterious character that pops out of nowhere and pretty much kills Freddy. He takes his crown and says, "Ha, I'm powerful now. I'm you." And it is up to you to restore Freddy by collecting the crowns of each world. Simple enough. Until the end. The ending was so stupid and it ended very abrupt. It made no sense how it's like a complete 180. I can't really say much without spoiling, so don't worry, I won't spoil it. Just know going into the ending that it was very left field and I wasn't expecting it whatsoever. It really, really knocked down the score just with how bad this ending was. Granted, it didn't knock down the score that much because the score was already pretty knocked down from some other things. Now, gameplay, you play as different characters from all these different franchises. You can go into their worlds, like, for example, Invincible. You go into Invincible's world and you have to help him in protecting the city from Omni-Man. Or you go into Shaun of the Dead and you have to help escort the girlfriend and the mom and the stepdad to the pub. Escort them to Winchester, stuff like that. There's some really, really cool things that you can do in the gameplay. However, it does get a little repetitive after so long. There are different things, like the different worlds do offer different things to do. You get new abilities that work with different puzzles within the world. But other than that, there's not anything too crazily different from hour 1 to hour 10, which I would say if you rush through everything, the game could be beaten in about 6 to 10 hours. If you're trying to go for 100%, you do have to beat the game first, go back and do everything, trying to find stuff. If you're following a guide, it could take a little bit longer. If you're not, so on and so forth. But the game puzzles are probably one of the things that really affect the gameplay. Now, some of the story ones aren't awful. They're pretty easy to figure out. There are some story-related puzzles that are just stupid and take a long time. It's not until when you're trying to collect the silver chest that have the silver crowns in them that some of the puzzles get very, very stupid. For example, there is one in Jurassic World where there's multiple guitars. You are unable to hear the audio from the guitars because the music in the level is so blaringly loud. I, no lie, had to turn down the audio. I went into the menu, turned the audio down to 20, and then I was able to hear. And then I was like, well, obviously it's going to be the Jurassic Park theme. But it wasn't until I completely turned down the audio that I was able to hear anything. Another thing is the boss battles. I feel like the boss battles are cool to look at, but playing them are just kind of repetitive. It's the same thing. Yeah, there might be a different mechanic here and there with the bosses, but overall, you're doing the same exact thing for every single boss in the game. So we've talked about story, we talked about gameplay, but we haven't talked about everybody's favorite part. That's right. Glitches and bugs. That's the theme song for that. Oh gosh. Funko Fusion has just a bit of glitches and bugs, so much so that I have to talk about it for quite a bit now. So I hope y'all are ready. Before the glitches and bugs, I would have given Funko Fusion probably a 7.5. I was enjoying it. Yeah, there was some repetitiveness and stuff like that, but overall it wasn't awful. There wasn't anything that made me go like, yeah, man, this game sucks or anything like that. No, no, no. They said, hold on a second. We don't know how to polish a game right here. And you have the final product of Funko Fusion. The game is riddled with bugs. There are so many moments, and I'll try and name a bunch of them, but there are so many moments that just overly frustrated me and made me want to strangle my PlayStation because of the bugs and glitches. For example, immediately starting the very first level of the game, you can see a little arm sticking in through a drum set. I don't know how she's trying to play, but she's playing something. Another one in Umbrella Academy, while playing, my character completely disappeared. I was like, okay, this is cool. Having to try and find a character box to swap your character, which actually fixed it, was pretty complicated when you can't tell what your character is. I've had the game crash on me multiple times. I had multiple bosses, to where I was shooting them and it wasn't registering my bullets. For example, there's a boss on the thing where he has little eyeballs, and it's the final phase. After you beat that, you beat the level. He has little eyeballs. It would not register any shot I took on this freaking boss. I spent probably about 10-15 minutes trying to figure out if there's a different mechanic, stuff like that, before exiting and retrying, just to find out that the game just glitched. I had an enemy. I was at the very end of a Battlestar Galactica level, and there was an enemy who just wouldn't take any damage whatsoever. So I had to exit the game and go back in, and guess what? It was just a glitch. The game is filled with issues and bugs and just moments that just frustrate you because it's an issue with the actual game itself and not an issue with you not knowing what to do. And I think that is what really, really holds back Funko Fusion from being better than what it is. I would give Funko Fusion a 5.5 out of 10 if it wasn't for all the bugs, if it wasn't for all the glitches and being unable to finish a level and having to redo it, all that fun freaking stuff. I probably would have given Funko Fusion probably a 7, maybe a 7.5. I don't know, after that ending, it might have been a 7. But overall, Funko Fusion was a fun time. Just be warned, if you do pick it up now-ish, there are going to be issues. I would hopefully wait a little bit for some patches, and hopefully we'll get those pretty quickly. And then you're going to have a more well-rounded game that you should enjoy and have a fun time with. Just be warned, if you do go to pick it up now, you might be frustrated with your purchase. If you are playing Funko Fusion, I do have a bunch of guide videos that I'm working on. I have quite a bit out already, but I'm adding more every single day. So be sure to check out the playlist on my channel or subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified whenever a new video pops up. If you have any questions about the game, let me know in the comments down below. As far as the platinum is concerned, I'm still working on it. You're pretty much going to have to 100% the game and collect every single thing in the game. So be warned, if you're going for the platinum, it's going to be a lengthy one because there's a lot of things to collect. Other than that, this is Chris with Platinum Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. As always, keep getting those trophies, and I will catch you on the next video.